here. We'll get started with questions from Miriam. Miriam, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Shanae was saying that this was a unique challenge to sort of go on what you call the home opener tour, but that you guys learned plenty. What specifically did you learn, and what do you see them learning?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to win in this league, especially on the road. I think we're fortunate to win those first two games, and that was a good feeling to get some positive feedback early. But becoming great, being great, it doesn't go in a straight line. It doesn't happen overnight. I don't think we're surprised that we have work to do. And we're going to do the work, and we'll figure it out. And I think there's enough good there that, as we put more time in with one another, in June at some point we'll get some practice, but there's just no time to do that right now. But we'll get better. We'll learn from some of these things individually and collectively. And, I think our players are learning, some things for themselves. And as coaches, we're learning them. We're learning which lineups are going to fit, well together. Another slow start tonight, so that's something that we have to figure out, as we get back onto our home court. But a lot of basketball left to play, and we're going to get better as the season goes on.
We'll go next question. Mikhail, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Coach?
All right, Mikhail.
So 2 questions, man. The first question, you guys go 2-2 on this trip against some really good teams. What are the positives that you take away from the ladies so far? And then just from today's game, what can the ladies do on the rebounding side of things to, make things easier for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to start with the positives, I mean, I think we're showing that we're going to be able to get to the free throw line consistently most nights. I think we've been 20 plus in every game. And I think, we maybe shot 30, free throws in one of the previous games. They're all running together at this point. I'm sorry if I'm not able to kind of articulate which game we shot 30 plus free throws, but I think that's a good sign for us that with some of the personnel we've added and the way that we're attempting to play offensively, we're putting our opponents and the officials in positions where they're having a difficult time stopping us, and we're getting some calls, and we're shooting a good percentage from the free throw line. So on the road, that's in particular a good sign, because you can get your defense set more often, getting to the line. Our turnovers were back up again, so not as great there. And then, as you mentioned, with the rebounding, being the issue. But I think overall, getting the split on the road is in pro sports, like you can't live below that line and expect to be successful. So I think the positives of showing that we can win on the road. You lose a close game in Atlanta that changes the trip from 2-2 to maybe 3-1, and we feel a lot differently after maybe after tonight's game. So from the rebounding aspect of it, I think we just have to continue to make the commitment to getting after the basketball. And that's something that each player has to decide. We have to have that, that mindset that once the shot goes up, it's a 50-50 ball. And, we have to get at it. And, we have players that, are playing enough minutes to figure out a way to get more rebounds. And, it's something we're going to have to work at again when we get some practice time, but also, especially against Connecticut, like, they push you around until you push back, and they hit you first. And if you don't hit back, they're going to keep hitting you. And so, some of it is also deciding that we're not going to allow any team to treat us that way. And that's something we'll work at improving as we go forward.
We'll go next question to Jackie Ray. Jackie, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. It seems like you once again had this game where you had a rough start, but then in the second half, you had this great start that kind of made you wonder if you had that start to start the game, would it have been different? Is there something you're going to change immediately to try to make sure you have a good start going forward?
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at, at the video from each game and kind of take a look at what are those consistencies and why the starts, we're poor, and I think each of these 4 games is not great. One thing is like, I think our defense is really what is letting us down. Like, you're on the road in particular, right? You're not going to walk into a gym and hang up a 25 or 30-point quarter offensively most nights. There could be some nights where you're just shooting the lights out and it goes well, and that's all fun, but it's really your defense and your mental and physical toughness on the road that you have to establish right from the start, that the opponent knows they're going to have to beat you tonight, that you're not giving in to fatigue or fan noise or whatever it is, whatever the amount of games it is on your road trip. They just have to feel that your presence is going to be impactful. So I think immediately for us, I think we just have to make some decisions, I think, on, making sure we have a combination of 5 players that are ready to meet that standard, right? That when the game starts, we're not waiting. We don't have time to get ourselves into it. We got to be ready to go right from the start. And, I have to hold myself accountable in that regard as well. It's my job to make sure the team is ready to play. And clearly we haven't been. So whatever it is that I need to do to get better, I'll do that and figure that out. And we'll get off to a better start on Tuesday.
We'll go next question to Brianne Ingram. Brianne, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, you just mentioned defense, and Connecticut is a team that has been playing together for quite some time, and they like to push the ball, and they have a fast-paced offense. So as a new team learning each other, how do you work on keeping up your transition defense with a team that likes to run the floor?
Yeah, I mean, they like to run the floor, as you said, because that's the most efficient way that they score. Last season, they actually played at the slowest pace in the league, although they were good in transition. It's not a team that plays fast without purpose, right? They will push the ball at you where they can, but ideally they're going to get a good shot at some point later in the clock. And then they just kind of really beat you up on the offensive glass, and that becomes the most effective offense other than transition. So I think for us, again, as a new team, with new personalities and, figuring out what your individual identity is within this team construct, like that's a hard thing for everybody to figure out early in the season. We got players with a lot of talent that have accomplished a lot. And they're all trying to figure out, where do they fit in? Where my opportunity is going to be on offense? Where can I get my shot? Where are my minutes? Why am I not starting? Why am I not playing more? That's all stuff that we have to work through and figure out. And continue to find that shared purpose, the shared vision, and making sure we stay locked in and together for a common goal. Not an easy thing to do. A lot of teams would just kind of show up and win if it was easy. But I think we do have a group. I know we have a group that's committed to doing the work necessary to figure it out. And, we'll keep churning and figure these things out as we go.
We'll go last question to Edwin. Edwin, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach. In these 4 games, you had Sykes, Nneka, Liz, and Jordan starting every game, and that 5th player alternated every single game. Amy Atwell, Lexi Brown, Jasmine Walker. Bro, what are you looking for in that 5th starter?
Just trying to figure out, in each game, right? We got off to a slower start. I think at times it's we need another player that can space the floor in terms of perimeter shooting and just in offensive abilities. And figuring out with Liz and Nneka on the court and Jordan and Brittany in the backcourt, what type of player do we need to kind of sandwich in between those 4 to give us the best chance to be successful. And, you know, starting out the trip seemed like it was working. But, you know, we didn't win the last 2 games, but it doesn't change the process, right? Of figuring out with NECA, excuse me, and Liz up front, you know, how do we put a starting unit together that gives us a great chance to get off to quality starts. We do believe that Christy Tolliver and Katie Lou Samuelson will play a role in how we figure that out. And, you know, if we get those players back here in the next, you know, few days or so, we could look entirely different to start games, you know, going in the next week or in the next couple of weeks. And that could create a little bit more, you know, kind of disruption to having the same starting 5 all season long. But that kind of comes with a new team. And we'll find something that works, though, that has the right balance of offense and defense, and gives us a good chance to get off to better starts.
Great, thank you, coach.
Thank you.